Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad that you could join us in a new section, which is not only a section, but also a new chapter in our learning process. From now on, we will look at complex concepts in Java. So all the previous topics, such as primitives, conditionals, loops, those topics are as a fundamental subject materials will all be used in all the future materials, all the future concepts that we'll look into from this moment on. And the first such complex topic will be arrays. And this video will introduce you introduce you to the concept of arrays, introduce you to the need of arrays, and it will share with you few characteristics of arrays in Java. So let's start from a blank page. Now, let's actually remind ourselves what we did before when it came to working with values and variables. Okay, so we said that every time we create a variable, this is what we did, right? We said, for example, we want to create an int value. Int number is equal to 5. So what we did here is, let's add some visualization here. What we did here is we asked the compiler to dedicate a small memory allocation in the heap. We will look into it even further down the road. And this is, if you remember how the size of the ints are 4 bytes. So this is a 4-byte memory allocation. And this memory allocations, this space's name is number. And right now, this space can hold numbers from -2 billion to +2 billion. But in this space, we just want to see number 5, correct? So let's look at it this way. We just have number 5 here. Now let's put it here. This is what we did. If we want to create more numbers like this, let's say I want to create another space, another number. Now I can't call it number. I have to call it number 2, for an example. And I'm going to pass a value here as 3, right? And obviously our storage, our space in the memory is going to have another allocation like this of 4 bytes, and it's going to hold value 3. Now, you saw our first dilemma. If I wanted to store multiple numbers, I had to create multiple storage locations like this, and I had to name them differently. If I do number is equal to 5, right, I declared it, and next time if I do int number, it will give me an error saying that you have already used this variable name. I have to change the name. Or if I want to keep the name, and if I do number is equal to 3, now this space is going to stay as is, but the value inside is going to change to 3. So basically, I can't have multiple numbers inside this storage location, right? I can have one number of a huge value. It can be like a couple billions. It doesn't have to be 5. It can be 2 billion. It can be -100 million, whatever. But there is only going to be one storage allocation, so I can assign only and only one number. So what if I want to assign multiple numbers? This is where the concept of arrays come up. Let's do this. Let's copy this. Now, I want to create a single variable, right? That will store multiple values inside. So I want to take a container that will have multiple sub-values inside. I mean, let's actually keep it simple. Let's say 4 values inside, right? And I want to name it as, I want to give this whole thing, this set of values, a single number. This is where the concept of arrays come in. So let me add a, oops, not this. Let me add a text here. This is how we need arrays, right? Or let's call it array. Array stands for a like strings stood for multiple chars. Array stands for multiple elements of the same type. Remember. So let's say this is going to be an array of ints. We're going to look into syntax in our next video. So here we're just going to share with you concepts. Array of ints that has, let's put it in the next line, that has 4 int elements. Right? Elements is a keyword. That's why we're going to use it as elements. So basically 4 int elements or values. Right? So there are 4 storages that represent the same int storage, and all of them are in one line. All of them belong to a single array, and we're going to call it values or numbers, for example. It does not matter what you call it. Naming, as long as you follow the convention, numbers. Naming doesn't matter, right? Great. This is what arrays are. Instead of one container for each, so instead of creating one container at a time, you say that I want to create an array of containers, a few number of containers, not a single, a few number of containers. And in this case, this array or this huge container is going to have 4 int elements. So it's going to have 4 int containers. Number at position 1 is going to be 3, or let's call it 5, for example, right? Number at position 3 is going to be 3. I'm sorry, position 2. Number at this third number is going to be, I don't know, 96. And the fourth number is going to be negative 789. You see? Now, when we talk about numbers, we're going to talk about these 4 numbers. Instead of we saying number is equal to 5, number 2 is equal to 3. Here, we did not need to create 4 separate variables to be able, and we did not need to remember their names. Right now, we have only one variable that is an array of ints, and it has 4 elements. First element is 5, second element is 3, third element is 96, and last element is negative 789. So this is the concept of arrays. In our next video materials, we will look into how we can, what the syntax is in terms of declaring a memory allocation like this in Java. We know how we can declare our primitives. We know how we can assign value to them. We know how we can declare and assign value to our non-primitive string object. And now it is time to look at how we can declare, instantiate, and initialize an array object. I will see you in our next video. Thank you very much for your time.